Okay, we are live, and this is no, it's a sad day. You know, um, we have had a mass shooting in Norway, and I will try to give you some information about what has happened. And there are lots of things we don't know yet. I'll just say hello to the people here in the chat. Um, Now we are there's 100 people here, and the discussion is already ongoing. Okay, so just to give you some background information, if you didn't know, I am Norwegian. I I am in Norway now, and I live not too far away from Kongsberg, which is a town, the town where this happened last night. It's quite late last night, I think it was. Um, it was dark anyway outside, and we got these crazy. I got these crazy messages, and that there was a guy running around with a bow shooting people in Kongsberg in Norway. Sadly, it looks like that's what that is what happened. Um, and yeah, so okay. Um, at the moment, five people have been declared dead, and there are several injured, I believe. Um, the person who did this has been caught by the police. He was they managed to catch him quite um, early on last night. He did resist. Um, what I'm hearing is that the police confronted him inside a store, and he managed to get away from the store. And later, the sometime later, the police managed to get control of him, and yeah, but by then 5 people were dead. And what I'm reading now is that in the news now is that he was using a bow and other weapons as well. I do not know which weapons he used um, to attack people. I don't know if he used only the bow to kill people, or if he used a bow and a knife, or I don't know. But I will guess that he did not use any gun, because what seems to be the case is that he was able to move around in Kongsberg um, for some time while he was doing this, because he didn't really make a sound. Okay, so obviously a gun would have made a loud sound, and that would have alerted people. A bow will not do that. It's silent, which makes it so dangerous in situations like this. Kongsberg is a small town. I've been there a couple of times. It's a normal Norwegian small town. You can walk through the town center in a few minutes, I guess, and um, this is it's a tragedy. It's just so horrible and evil. Why he chose to use a bow, I don't know. If it was some kind of tactical reason for it, or if he was just somewhere in his insane mind, that was what he felt he had to do. I don't know. I don't know. But it's we don't really have mass shootings in Norway. We did have one, the Breivik guy, you know, that was very horrible. That was just horrible, and I can never forget that because I was walking. I went to school, and I walked up for 3 years up and down that road where he blew up the buildings and all. So yeah, yeah. I was not at school at that time, of course, because this happened after, long time after I quit school. But anyway, um, so what happens now? We know that this guy is a Danish citizen, actually living in Norway. At least that's what it said in the news this morning. I don't know anything about his things like, his ethnic background, his political views, if he is associated with any particular group. I don't know. Could be that he's just a very disturbed individual. Again, we do not know these details yet. So, yeah, some people are asking about the weapons restrictions. I can tell you that when it comes to guns, there are lots of guns in Norway because we have a hunting tradition here. And so it's not a big problem to get hold of a gun in Norway. That's as far as I understand. So yeah, lots of theories in the chat now. Again, I don't know, and I don't want to guess either, because that could, I can't make a qualified guess even at this point. Well, thank you for the donation there. I spotted a donation. That's wonderful. Thanks a lot for that. And Bob, thank you for becoming member to the channel. Yeah, and we have a troll here as well. Au revoir. Thank you for your wonderful. You're claiming that I believe everything the news says. That's cute. We'll get rid of you. Like that, I think. Yeah. Okay. Now, it is important, by the way, that to remember that I do actually know a little bit about what I'm talking about here, because first of all, I have been to Kongsberg. I've been to places like that, and I know the mentality. I know what kind of people who are normally out a weekday in the evening at this time of the year. Normal people. There will be people going to the gym or other forms of exercise. There will be people maybe who work late on their way home. Normal people. And he went into one of the stores there, and he started killing people there. So there would have been just normal people doing their shopping. Um, now, so as a Norwegian, I will say that this is we have had things like this happening before. We have had stabbings. We have had people killing because of who knows what. We have had that happening here before. Um, disturbed people doing that. So what what I'm hoping is that mainstream media will not make this about a question about the safety of owning a bow. Um, it should be about mental health, because that seems to be the common thing in these tragedies. There's a lack of mental health care in Norway, and not so many people know about that, but there is a lack of. There are lots of people walking around suffering. There are lots of people walking around who should not be walking around because they are not fit to be out in the public. And if they make this about, now we need, if they now start saying we need to have a license for owning a bow, uh, you know, it's it's sort of the same debate as the gun debate in the USA. And what I can say is that I own many bows, and some of them, well, most of them are absolutely capable of killing a person because I've built some bows. When I build a bow, it's for it's not a toy. Um, and I own some bows that I have bought as well, and they are hunting tools. That's what they are for. So, in theory, anyone with a little bit of practice could take a bow like that and use it for murder. But you could do the same with almost any weapon. Now, I was listening to the news last night, and to the uneducated people there, the journalists talking about pil og bue in Norwegian. That's bow and arrow. Just them saying that, it's a bit like pil og bue. That's something you play with as a child. He used a bow, a hunting bow. I don't know what kind, but if he used a compound bow, what they said in the news is not correct. The part where they said that you need a lot of training to use it to murder people. That's not true, because a compound bow has 2 points of aiming. You aim through the string and also in the scope on the bow. So that makes it, the aiming part, much more like the aiming you would do with a rifle. While a traditional bow, or a recurve bow, you don't aim like that. You have 1 point of aiming with a modern recurve bow, and you have a more instinctive way of shooting when we're talking about the kind of bows that I build. Um, and the more primitive, if you will, the bow is, the more training it requires. It's much more difficult to use a longbow, for instance, than to use a compound bow. If you use the compound bow, um, that's it's quite easy to get into using that, and you will be accurate enough to hit people in vital parts of their body. Anonymous Døden, you are wrong, and so, and also you can, of course, you can walk around holding the string for some time with a compound bow, and yeah. So, but anyway, I will not tolerate trolls. I will not tolerate anyone being funny in this chat today. It's not the time for that. And we have the trolls again. Eric Simner, just go away. You're just wasting everyone's time. Okay, I won't even bother to block you. Okay, just go away. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. I am a little bit. I haven't decided yet what I think about licensing or requiring a license for using, having a bow. I have seen people buying typically compound bows, people who should not have a weapon like that. I've seen that. I've heard about that. I have family in the police force, and it's I'm it's like I'm not so happy about it. Okay, I'm not so happy about it. If you really, but then again, these people, they would get hold of something anyway. So it's not so, it's a sort of a complicated debate, I guess. For me, if they license this, if they not license this, but if they say that you need to register your bow, to be honest with you, I don't care so much, because are they going to say that, well, now you have to come to the police station with all your wooden sticks and register those? What if when I make a new bow, then do I go to the police station and say I've whittled a new bow? It's I don't know. Maybe they make it mandatory to register the compound bows only. I don't know. So yeah, well, and also, of course, it's there is another problem, and as the now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not. Yeah, well, some people will get me wrong, but they will do that anyway. I'm just saying that for me, I would not have a problem with with calling up the police, for instance, saying, well, yes, I have a compound bow. I wouldn't care so much about that, because I mostly use my traditional bows anyway. But especially Americans, they don't like me saying that. And I do not think that the criminals would register their compound bows that they already have. It is something that you typically, there are lots of those around in Norway. It's quite popular to have one of those. They are not that expensive. Anyone can go to the sports store and buy one. So I don't think that requiring those to be registered will solve any problems. So that's my opinion on that, I guess. But I'm not absolute about this. I'm not absolute about it. But first and foremost, this is a tragedy, and I'm sitting here hoping that those who were wounded will survive and that they were not maimed for life. I'm just sitting here and hoping that we won't, have updated numbers of fatalities. So, yeah, and yeah, it's just very sad. It's just very sad. Um, and there's a lot to be said about it. This when things like this happen. Um, but I think I'll leave it there for now, and I hope you enjoyed the. Oh wow! Enjoyed the live stream. Thank you for the donations, Philip. Um, says there's a lack of mental care worldwide. Um, yes, yeah, and trolls also for mental health issues. I see that, and I shouldn't have been that blunt when I called out that guy, because I do realize that these people could have problems, but sometimes they get to me. So, um, and Mountain Roamer, thanks a lot for the donation. Thanks a lot. So, yeah. Again, also I hope that this will not um, become in the comment section a debate about gun rights, because this is Norway and things are difficult here. Not difficult. Well, things are difficult as well. Things are different here. Okay, and we're talking about archery equipment. Yeah, archery equipment. I worry more actually about them banning knives. Um, because if you go to somewhere like the UK, and the English people here, the English people will know about this. The knife laws in the UK are, the way I see it, just stupid, and there's no sense and reason there at all. Bob says it takes years of practice to use a longbow well, and it will make muscles in one shoulder massive. Yes, actually, yes, absolutely. I've seen the remains, the skeleton actually, of a professional archer from back in the old days, and he was asymmetrical. No, not symmetrical. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Yeah, well, banning knives. Are you serious? Well, it's it is something that they have done in the UK, I believe. So it's it's kind of strange, because you need a knife to make food. And so they have, the way I understand this is that they have tried to limit um, certain kinds of knives, but that gets very silly, because now I did some knife fighting in martial arts a few years ago, and some of the best and useful knives for that kind of uh, use are actually some of the knives you will find in a kitchen. Um, I would certainly not use a typical, bushcraft knife or a whittling knife, and that's the kind of knives they've gone after, the way I understand it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Because one of my bushcraft knives, they're not made for that. They're made for processing wood mainly. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks to everyone who joined the chat. So yeah, not a happy day in Norway. Sad to say that. It's not good when things like this happen. It's not good at all. Yeah. Okay. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones and stay strong out there. Okay. We'll talk soon. Bye.